Pick the Nintendo Shack and pray. Frederick from Fire Emblem Awakening says yo.
Greetings, Koopalings, and welcome to this week's episode of the Nintendo Shack podcast. We've got an indie direct to talk about. We've got a Pokemon leak to talk about. We will not talk spoilers, don't worry, but it's happening. It is happening. We have the Splatfest that's starting. There is so much going on. Garrett, how was your week?
Yes. It's chaotic as always. It's just always just chaos everywhere every week. But I'm doing good. Today is good though.
Everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere. Pretty much everywhere. Today is good though. You know why?
Why?
It's Veterans Day here in the US, and we get a day off today.
Oh yes, why. I did have off today as well. It was very glorious. I got to sleep in.
Yes, it was very nice. Oh, you get to sleep in. Oh, I still woke up and work a little, but what I did this afternoon, we went to Japantown, me and Fiona. We had some ramen, and it was very good.
Ooh, that sounds real good.
We had matcha ice cream as well. Like it hit the spot.
That sounds so fun.
Yeah.
How far away is that from you?
That's literally a 10-minute drive for us.
So you could go back.
Oh, well, yeah, no, we've been there a few times. So.
Oh, you have been. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. So, that is very, very awesome.
Doing good.
Well, I'm glad that it was a good end to the very chaotic week for you. What have you been playing lately?
Absolutely nothing.
Same.
So actually,
this is not a gaming week.
No, it's not a gaming week. Before we got into the show, it was a warm up. I wanted to choose the Splat team. I'm like, dang, I forgot to choose my Splatoon team. So I boot up my Switch and I'm like, oh, I'm in the middle of a battle in Mario plus Rabbids. So I was trying to get through that battle. I was like, no, I'm not gonna make it, am I? And I didn't make it. And then we started the show. So,
okay. How's Mario Rabbids going? You didn't play much, but
it's great.
Still going well?
It's great. It's fantastic. I beat the third planet, so I'm in the fourth planet now. Well, I beat the story of the third planet, like the main part. I'm still there. I can go to the fourth planet though if I want to. So I think there's like 2 or 3 more after that, and I'm done. And I think I'll play a lot more next week, because I think the chaoticness kind of ended this week. So yeah. Other than that, I'm just still playing Sparks of Hope. Still super fun. I noticed some people, including Donnie, being a little lukewarm about Sparks of Hope.
I saw that. I was curious because everything you said, was indicating it's so much better. It's really good.
Yeah. I think it's the pacing of this game is so different than the first one. The first one is definitely linear. You got longer battles, a little bit more complicated battles. I think personally, this one, I think it's more user friendly. Like you just kind of go into a battle and you kind of get out of it after I think the longest battle took me like 15-20 minutes.
Okay.
Which is not bad at all. It's pretty short compared to like the first game. I think some of them could go to 40 minutes or something.
That's like that. So long.
Yeah. I
don't want to be in a battle for that long.
I think I actually, with the open worldness, it's fine. I just know it's a Ubisoft game now because you just kind of like go around this open world hub, kind of complete some quests here and there all around, just like a Ubisoft game. I'm like, I wish they could have just, made it their own, make it more of a linear game again, because I think that what really shined in the first one.
Yeah.
How there was so much direction towards it, even though there were some side puzzles here and there. It was just small, short, sweet, to the point, very cute, creative. This one's like, oh, go off all the way over there and do some goofy side quest. And I'm like, really, guys? Like, okay. Yeah. And I also think the sparks were I understand, like, I like them. I just think my critique with them is that there's a little too much of them. With the sparks is the stars or whatever.
Yeah, I remember you saying that there were a lot. Most of them seemed to be optional, but
Yes,
there's a lot of them.
a lot of them are optional. You really gotta get into a battle. It's like, okay, what kind of enemies are you facing? Like this battle, it's like, okay, these monsters, they do gust damage, so it'd be good to have a gust spark in your battle in your members, because you'll be resistant to those gust attacks. Those gust
Mhm.
attacks can like send you off the battlefield.
Oh,
And
wow.
if that happens, then you get extra like damage hit to your character.
Okay.
So it'd be good to have a ghost, like a gust one, but also like they're weak to shock, so maybe have a shock spark too, so you can do effective attacks against them. I have some attacks that do like an area damage, and then some that enhances power up. There's like probably I think I have like 20 something sparks or something, and then each
Okay.
character can hold 2, so I can put 6 in a battle.
So having more of them gives you more options for strategizing in battle. Is that how that works?
Yeah, I just think it's just a little too much. I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna have to reset all my sparks again. I don't have like a loadout or anything like that. It's like I have to manually like think
Mm,
about, okay, what to put in there in the beginning of the battle,
right.
and just go for it. As far as the main characters, I don't find them um like I feel like you can mix and match these characters quite well and just be fine in a lot of battles. I think some battles lend you to be more ranged attack, and some battles you better be more short range but very heavy in damage. So maybe you want to take that into consideration. But all in all, I haven't had a wrong choice with characters. I've always gone through a battle just fine. So, I think there's definitely some gameplay decisions there where they took a different route from the first game, and I can see how Donnie and other people will be kind of lukewarm about it. It's like,
Yeah.
this is not for me right now. I was definitely in the mood for this type of game, so I think
Okay.
I'm kind of like catching the bug on it and really wanting to finish it. Whereas I think other people just like, it's okay compared to the first one, just kind of hopped off early on.
You said it was more or less linear than the first one? It's less
It's
linear?
more open. It's
More
less
open. Okay.
linear. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
definitely more open world hub. It's kind of, um it can be kind of frustrating with some quests where it's like, go find the there's like one quest like, go find the 3 penguins or whatever. I'm like,
Mm,
okay, let me shake the tree, let me walk
yeah.
around and see what, like, it's one of those. It's like, oh gosh, am I gonna have to look up a guide for this? Because this is just dumb. Like,
Annoying to
I
do
just
for something that's like not probably going to be that big of a reward.
exactly. And it's
Yeah.
just, yeah. They're just
Got
silly
it.
side quests. Anyways, other
Well, I
than
hope you're
that,
still enjoying it overall. It sounds like
you know,
you're making
it's
some
great.
good progress in it.
Yeah.
The Splatfest this weekend. I haven't been like really doing a whole lot of gaming either. This week I have mostly just been resting and getting over being sick like I was last week. I am excited to jump into the Splatfest this weekend. I picked Team Fire. I went and picked up my Splatoon 3 amiibo that released
Nice.
today. 3 of them came out today. I got the yellow inkling girl with the bow and arrow.
Hmm.
She's very cool. I really like her. The amiibo are looking
Really
really good
cool.
compared to the how they looked back in like when Splatoon 1's amiibo came out. I have
Yeah.
the Inkling girl from Splatoon 1, and just holding them next to each other, like you can just see how much more detail they
They're
are.
much
I know we've
different.
talked about that in the
Hmm.
past, but looks really good. I'm very happy
That's
with
so
it.
cool.
Yeah. And instead of gaming, I have been like super, super duper deep in looking up all of the Pokemon leaks, which we'll talk a little bit
Oh, of
about. Like I
course.
said,
My
I'm
goodness.
not going to spoil anything, but I'll share what has been leaked without like saying details about it. But I've just been
Before we
following that all week.
sounds good. I just, I don't even actively look for it, and I'm just fine. So I don't know why people are like, oh, go. I think this is for me with a lot of spoilers. I
Mhm.
think I just, if I don't look for them, I don't see them. Even with The Last of Us Part 2, I remember that
Mhm.
being spoiled like crazy.
Yeah.
I never had it spoiled for me, and then 2 months gone by and I beat the game. I'm like, I just didn't find them. You got to actively look for them, I think.
That's
I
impressive.
feel
I
it's
don't
just
know. I don't know about
yeah,
that, but for at least for Pokemon, I feel like there are a lot of like people making fan art of the designs that you
I
might come
see.
across as you're scrolling. But like for some of it, you might not know it's a spoiler unless like it's labeled as a spoiler. Like you might be scrolling and see a fan art of a
Random
design and not
Pokemon.
even know it's a Pokemon design. Or
I have
like
no
for
idea.
The Last
Yeah.
of Us, you said you weren't spoiled by it. You might have seen like a reference to it, but not even know that it was
Yeah.
referencing The Last of Us,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. So I'm glad that you weren't spoiled by that. I normally don't seek out leaks for games except for Pokemon. It is my guilty
Got it.
pleasure.
Got
So
it.
I've been just like nonstop scrolling on like Twitter and other sites about that. Also been doom scrolling Twitter because of all of the drama happening on Twitter
Yeah,
this
we're
week.
talking about this
I don't know. Twitter is it's
cataclysm or
doomsday.
whatever.
It's like
Yeah.
at the point where it's kind of funny. Like you just have to laugh at it. It's so
It
ridiculous. With
it
people
got
making
very
fake
bad.
accounts to
Yeah.
impersonate, and it's like it's affecting real world things like the stock prices of insulin companies. Did you see that one?
I saw that one. Yeah.
Like
I very much did.
we're like
I
watching this, and I feel like there's no precedent to this massive, like Twitter is massive. It's so consequential in it's had such an effect, I think, like in countries' revolutions, in news sharing, in like so many different areas in the world, and we're like living this first ever massive downfall in real time of this
Mhm.
site. Like I feel like when these
Mhm.
things happen, it's like the slow decline of MySpace, the slow decline of, you know, all these other sites. This is like happening
Hmm.
in 2 weeks.
Yeah. I would okay, so first off, the market stock decline stuff. I've been seeing multiple of these and I'm like,
It's not just, yeah, it's
may
lots of stuff.
well, no, maybe that's just the market. Maybe it's just coincidental. They just took a screenshot of the tweet and the screenshot of the stock. I
You're
don't
not
know.
buying it?
Like, I'm not I'm not buying it just yet because it's Twitter. It's like its own echo chamber. I think
That's true.
the one thing I find like just kind of hilarious now. I'm like, I find verification badge meaningless.
Oh
Like,
yeah, definitely.
I don't care anymore at all.
No,
Like,
it's, yeah, it's
if I
it just means that you have $8 that you want to throw out the window.
either that or you're verified and I don't care anymore. Like, it's
Yeah.
like, okay, it's rendered meaningless now. It's funny because this morning I put it in dark mode, Twitter. I saw it flipped from the white check mark in dark mode to a blue check mark back to white check mark. So they are messing with a bunch of stuff in the back end.
It changes
I
every single
yeah.
day. They tried the official tag for like 20 minutes and then it went away. And now apparently it's back again because Mr. Musk's feelings were hurt.
Mhm.
It's just everything's changing in real time. And honestly, nobody's talking, well, I see a couple people talking about this, but not enough people talking about this. The fact that he fired half of the team and like a large amount
Half the
of
team.
like
Yeah.
security programmers and whatnot, like make sure you don't have your phone number associated with your account. Don't buy Twitter Blue because that's going to associate your credit card information with your account. Make sure your password is not the same on Twitter for like any other important websites that you use, because I feel like big websites have data breaches for like with less drama surrounding it. Like, you know what I mean? Like Sony has
Yeah.
been breached before, like lots of big websites have been breached, and now there's like nobody
There's no way there.
taking care of
Well,
this. Yeah, taking care of Twitter.
well, I think it's more targeted now because it's getting so much attention. So sure, we can have another data breach in there. I think my information's out there. Like I have my phone number probably associated with it, and I'm like, a lot of things have my phone number. Like
Okay, yeah, but I don't
my insurance. Have you ever dealt with like health insurance? You like I had to like look up health insurance once, just like individual health insurance, just in case something happens. I sent my phone number out. Oh my gosh, that was a massive headache. every day I just got calls and emails, just spam. And I think that would be anyways. I'm getting off track here. I think Twitter is its own echo chamber. I think Elon's bringing it a lot of attention now, and cutting half the staff is not good. I'm hearing a lot of turmoil in the back end. Again, I'm just getting it from Twitter though, so it's just information I'm just taking with a grain of salt. I don't know what's going to happen. The only thing that I got from this is that the verification badge is rendered meaningless, and that's pretty scary because I see like a Tesla impersonator, I saw a Lockheed Martin impersonator, I saw a Nintendo one that's pretty bad, like really bad.
Mario flipping us off.
I've heard that one. No,
is this a different one?
It's a different one. I won't share in the show because it's not appropriate, I think.
Oh my goodness. I'm so curious. You can tell me after the show.
Yeah. After. But anyways, okay, yeah, Twitter's the thing. I don't like, if it's alive, it's alive. It isn't, that's okay. We'll figure out something else.
Well, see, the thing is, like, the Mario flipping us off thing, like, that's funny, whatever. There's going to be people, and I'm sure it's already happening, that are using the verification badge to scam people who are not as terminally online as you and I are. And I don't know. I just don't feel bad seeing Mr. Musk's money go down the drain. There will be, I'm sure, if it does die, another replacement that pops up. But it sucks. It sucks that like somebody has the power to bring down this significant website like within a month.
Getting it exposed. It's not fun for us at all as a gaming community. And also like a lot of other communities, like, you know, I'm in the science and academic community on Twitter. That's a big thing too. And actually they connect each other professionally on Twitter. Like, you know, they share articles, they share a bunch of communication on this platform. And now it's just, you know, Musk just making very rash and irrational decisions. I'm scared.
A lot of artists their livelihood depends on getting clients through Twitter. Like there's a lot at stake here that I don't know, it's burning to the ground and we're living it.
And I don't want to jump ship right now just because, you know, I know there's other social media websites trying to imitate what Twitter's doing. It's just, I'm not going to jump ship until like we've seen the really like it fall down.
Yeah, I'll still be there. I'm not ever going to buy Twitter Blue. I'll still be there until it does like burn to the ground completely. But I am trying to, you know, make accounts on other websites and establish myself in other places because I don't know. I like once it dies, like how do we connect with each other? Like, you know, you and I and like the people that we're closest with, but I have a lot of friends on Twitter and like, there's a lot of good people there that I may never connect with again if the website just stops working one day.
Yeah. Twitter's like a place that we share what we want to share, and like a lot of our friends like to see it, and also friends of friends like to see it, and then their followers it's like a connection kind of thing. And so that's why I like about Twitter, because you just see a lot of other people kind of interacting with it, and it is cool like that. I know people like Discord. It's just Discord's a closed community. It's for your friends. It's for your online people in your community. But you can actually grow something in Twitter. You know, there's a lot more outside connections involved. So, anyways, we'll see how it goes.
Anyways, we'll see how it goes for sure. Let's talk about the Indie World Direct that we had this week.
Sure.
I have to be honest, I didn't watch it very closely. It happened while I was at work, so I saw some of the highlights. But okay. I don't know if you want to go through the whole list of what was shown, or if you want to just talk about standout titles. How do you want to do it?
How about I've seen the whole thing. How about you kind of just like name out the game, and then I'll stop you if I want to talk about it. How about that? Yeah.
Started off with Venba. It's a cooking narrative, making South Indian dishes, coming out next year. Goodbye World is coming later this month. Have a nice day. Goodbye World?
Yeah, Goodbye World. It seems pretty cool.
Remind me what this one was.
This one is like this kind of 8-bit Game Boy Color game where I think you're living in a, just like kind of this 2D simulation, top-down simulation of these developers, and they're just going throughout their lives, having a job on the side, but they're making their game, and their game is this 8-bit game, and you see kind of their struggles with it, and they debug, and I think it's actually kind of neat how
I'm
they
looking this
spend.
one up. I like the art style a lot.
For sure, I like the art style of this too. It reminds me so much of Game Boy,
It does.
a lot, and the music. So, anyways, I'm gonna keep my eye on Goodbye World.
It says it's a puzzle platformer.
Is it a puzzle platformer? I thought it was more of a
It says on
narrative-driven.
Steam.
Hmm,
Says
interesting.
wait, hold on. It says it's a narrative adventure game. Play through
Yes.
12 stages of a puzzle platformer while following the two protagonists through 13 chapters of their story. So it sounds like it's maybe like a mix of some stuff.
Yeah,
The puzzle
so
platformer, I think, is the game inside of the game.
I see. That makes sense.
Okay. I like it.
Cool.
Have a Nice Death. It's a 2D action platformer, sort of like Hollow Knight, coming out next March. Aka? I guess it is. It's a wholesome Red Panda. Yeah, wholesome Red Panda open world game. You noted that it looks a little rough, coming out in December. Yeah. Devolver Digital is bringing us Pepper Grinder. You drill through things, coming next year.
Looks cool.
Coffee Talk Episode 2. I remember when the first episode came out. It's a narrative-driven visual novel coming out next spring. Oni? Is it Oni? Ani? Road to be the Mightiest Oni. It's an action open world game. Also apparently looks rough, coming out next March. Desta, The Memories Between. It's a grid turn-based ball game. You tell me about that one.
I'm in. This one looks cool. This is from the developers of Monument Valley, which, when I saw this, I was like, this is kind of interesting. It looks more like Monument Valley, like this kind of spiritual outside world type of vibe going on. There's a story to it for sure, but I think it's a ball game mixed with the turn-based combat of some kind. Like they kind of like throw the ball around in order to complete a certain task or be an enemy or whatever. I don't know. I'm into it because it's a grid turn-based game, and I want to see how it kind of I need to like learn a little bit more what this game is about.
Yeah. It looks like it's like on that isometric type of top-down style. It says it's an action roguelike turn-based tactics. Wow, that is like made for Garret. If only there was a card game minigame inside of it.
That would have been perfect. That would have been Garret game number one, day one buy.
Okay, it looks cool. A Space of the Unbound 2D adventure game coming out in January. Dordonnay. This one caught my eye. So this they showed at the Wholesome Direct. It has like a very watercolor pastel kind of style, very, very artsy, coming out in the spring. I keep my eye on that one. Botany Manor.
That one looks cool, yeah.
Yeah, Botany Manor, first-person puzzle game. Take care of all the plants. Coming next year. Once Upon a Jester. Looks like QuickTime Events, the game.
Yeah, that's what I suggested.
Rogue Legacy 2. It shadow dropped that day. Did you play Rogue Legacy?
Rogue Legacy?
No.
Ever heard of it?
No,
this is a very popular indie game. It is one of the indie darlings of like 2014, 2015. I don't know. I played it a lot on Vita. It is a great roguelite. It is one of the best roguelite games, I would argue, of the genre. I like it, and I don't like roguelite genres itself. So basically, imagine this knight. You're this 2D knight that kind of goes around throughout a castle, very like close to like Castlevania vibes, where you kind of like beat monsters with a sword or whatever. You have some extra skills involved, and then once you die, all of your skills that you've like for that specific character gets inherited to your descendant. And so you kind of like go through this cycle of like different skills, quirks, like positives and negatives in one person as you kind of go through this castle. You have to beat all the bosses in one run in order to beat the game as a roguelite. And there's permanent upgrades on the side. It looks like a major upgrade to the first one, which I really enjoyed. It's been around on Steam at early access. It's been released on Steam, like 1.0, but now it's coming to Switch. And it's looking pretty good.
Oh, cool.
A very high score, yes.
On Steam, very positive reviews. It also says each descendant that you play as is unique. They might be colorblind. They could be there's have different traits, I guess, that could help or hinder you.
Cool. Mm-hmm.
Cool, I like it. Blanc. We've seen this one before. Was this also one that was it in an indie direct or the Wholesome Games? I remember seeing it too. That like black and white deer fawn and puzzle game.
Yeah, I think it was an indie direct, right?
Okay.
I really think so. They just kind of come back again. Here's this pup and fawn game. Looks cute.
Cool. February.
It's a co-op. I don't know if it's single player, is it?
I don't know.
They were advertising it as a co-op game in the showcase here. Hold on, I'm just gonna check real quick.
Yeah.
Monochrome adventure. That's what they said.
Yeah, it looks cool. The art style looked really cool.
Very cute. Yeah. Maybe you could switch between the characters. That would be nice.
Okay.
Just single player. Yeah.
They showed a sizzle reel with a bunch of smaller stuff. I won't list them all. They showed a little to the left, which I know was in the Wholesome Games Direct. It's that one where you organize the household items while a cat tries to like paw it away, which is my life simulator. That shadow dropped, so that's available now. And finally, the one more thing, they ended with the long-awaited, highly anticipated Sports Story, the sequel to Golf Story. Finally will be available this December. I didn't get a chance to look at the trailer for this one. I just saw that it was announced. I'm finally excited that I know like lots of other people are very excited that we not only heard about it, but it's coming this year.
It's great.
Yeah, I'll probably get that one. I know Golf Story, like I loved everything about Golf Story except for the fact that it's a golf game. I'm just not like a golf person, and I know that somewhere out there Donnie's heart is breaking. But I love the humor of the game. I love the art style. I love, like, you can tell there's a lot of love that goes into it. So I think I'll like this one a lot more.
Yeah, cool. I mean, it looks great. I'll probably just wait it out till like a sale or something. I got so many other games I want to play. So
I don't know if it'll be day one for me, but I might. Yeah, I'll get it at some point.
Cool. So Sports Story looks great. Looks like it's just an updated kind of sequel version to Golf Story with more sports and more crazy fun. It looks super cool. I want to go back to the reel real quick because there's two games I want to.
Okay, I'm sorry.
WrestleQuest. I heard that's a great turn-based game about wrestling. So kind of check that out. I know it's like a huge hit on Steam. And Inscription, that is a card game that is a huge hit on Steam as well. So I think those two were worth mentioning in that sizzle reel.
So how would you rate this indie direct? I saw a lot of people that were like, it's not good, except for Sports Story was like the only announcement they cared about. What were your thoughts?
This one didn't vibe with me too much. Other than, like, honestly, I don't know if I'll get any of these games day one. I'll probably get Sports Stories later on a sale. And then, man, yeah, it's just others I was like, I want to like learn more about it. I think Rogue Legacy 2 was a good grab to put in the indie direct. I think Inscription was widely underrated in the reel. I wish that was its own thing because they announced it December 1st this year too. I think that's a huge hit on the Switch. But other than that, this did not vibe with me at all. These weren't.
There's also a lot of things that like we have seen before, whether it was in another indie direct or another kind of showcase, like the Wholesome Game Showcase, that this is the second or third time that we're seeing it, and they still don't have solid release dates. Like, we see a lot of 2023, spring 2023, like a lot of very vague dates for games that we already knew about. And to me, if they're showing a game for the second or even third time, that it's kind of been announced before, I want to know more about it. I want to know when it's coming out, or like what something more. What's the reason for it to be in the direct? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Sounds good.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just want to mention Gerald in the chat said that Have a Nice Death looked great. I agree. That one looked awesome. And I think those are the people that are really into the action platformer type of game. It really reminded me of Hollow Knight, but add a little bit more loot, a little more action to it. I think it looks easier to get into. So I'm going to keep my eye on that too. It looks fun.
Cool.
I think the other thing that I've noticed in this one, as you've seen with my comments, man, these games are looking rough. They are looking kind of rough. At least some of them that are more open world and try to be a little bit more expansive with their design. You can actually see it in the performance. They're chugging. They are obviously chugging. Like Akka looked really rough. I was like, are you serious? You're showing this? Like, this is what the kind of things that were going through my head. I think what was the Oni? I think Oni, the art style itself looks great. When it was running, like an engine, not so much. It just chugs. It chugs pretty hard too. Like, it's not like this kind of 30 frames. Oh, here's a blip here and there. It's like, no, that looks like RuneScape back in 2002. It looks that bad. So,
and anyway. I get that they're indie studios, but yeah, I feel like, especially if you're showing it like in the Nintendo showcase, yeah, you gotta show something a little bit better than that.
I think that's just a consequence of the Switch hardware now. So I don't know
maybe
how they're gonna get around it, other than here's our version on the Switch. You can play it if you want, because there's a lot of people on Switch now, and that's how it's gonna go. But anyways,
so yeah, that's the Indie Direct. The Splatoon 3 Splatfest has begun as of tonight. It is Team Grass versus Team Fire versus Team Water, referring to Pokemon teams. Team Fire! I picked Team Fire. Garret picked Team Water. It runs through the whole weekend, ending Sunday night. So go get your conch shells. Go get your Super Sea Snails. Remember that halfway through on Saturday night, it does change to the turf, the tricolor turf war, but the regular mode will still be available as well.
Oh, also, Fiona picked Team Fire.
Good for her. She's on the right side of history, Garret.
She'll probably play a lot more than me this weekend, so I'm sure you'll have a lot of support over in Team Fire. Anyways.
Edgardo wrote in, wanted to know, what is your favorite Splatoon weapon for the festival and why?
For the festival? So is it for the tri-turf war thing?
For turf war, yep.
I mean,
you use different weapons for, like, whether it's turf war or ranked battles, because I kind of do. I did more in Splatoon 2. I'm still trying to feel out like what weapons I want to use in this one. It's taking me like kind of long to decide, but I've been rocking the 52 gal. It is kind of a little bit of everything that's good for me.
I like the roller. That's one of my favorites, and I can be pretty mean with the roller once I get used to it.
You know, I never really used a roller until kind of just recently, and I've been kicking butt with it in splat zones in ranked battles.
Nice. That sounds good.
You can kill a lot of people. It's good. It's good stuff.
And the beginning of, when I was playing Splatoon 3, I had the bow, and I was doing pretty good with the bow. Like, I was knocking down teammates left and right. So I may need to go back to the bow, specialize that a little bit more. And
you'll have to tell me your secrets for using the bow, because I didn't like it when I tried it, and I want to like it because I love the.
I think it's an acquired taste. I think you got to be. I think it's a matter of just approach to certain people. Like, you got to make sure that you're aiming right at them in order to be very effective. If you're not aiming right at them, You can't just like, spray and pray like, guns in general. This one's like a little bit more, I think it's like in between a sniper and a gun in a way. You got to be pretty close. You got to make sure you kind of throw off their balance, but you can move a lot with the bow too. It's pretty versatile. So I don't know. I have a strategy to it, and it's
I like
pretty
when
fun.
you use the bow and then the ink lands and then it kind of does like a little explosion. So even if you don't hit them, you could still damage the people that are around it because of the little not recoil, but like
attrition
what's it called?
going on.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So go Splatfesting this weekend. Go Team Fire. We'll see who
Team
wins.
Water.
I think Team Water is going to win personally.
Mm.
I think I said this last week. I think that Team Water is going to be in the lead for halftime and win. I don't know. I'm just feeling it. It's a vibe. I'm just feeling it inside of me.
Blastoise and Feraligatr and Swampert just going at it. So, yeah. Nice. I love water.
So, speaking of Pokemon, the entirety of Scarlet and Violet has leaked online. I have been following it very closely. Again, we won't spoil the details here. I'm just going to tell you what things were leaked. Everything, pretty much everything that you can think of. All of the Pokemon, all of their stats, all of their learn sets. It's all been data mined. There have been live streams on Trovo and TikTok that I saw. I was watching quite a bit of Trovo, a live stream on there. Just if you don't want to be spoiled, just be really careful online. You might come across the designs because everything is leaked. Be careful on YouTube.
Oh, really?
They're showing like legendaries in the thumbnails, things like that.
Gosh.
Yeah.
That's bad.
Yeah. There's a lot of really good designs in this generation. I think there's some that are really, really going to surprise people because they're just wacky or like ridiculous.
Are they very Japanese, if you know what I mean? Like, are they wonky in that sense?
Some of them are. So do you know how that like Gimmighoul was just revealed in it was like that tie-in with Pokemon Go? Maybe that was that this week? Maybe we didn't even cover that last week. I think it was over the weekend. There was a new Pokemon that was revealed. It was like a tie-in with Pokemon
the treasure
Go.
Chest thing, right?
Yeah, it's like that little bug-looking thing. It's like flat. It likes the coins and it hides in the treasure chest.
Yes. We didn't talk about it because it was over the weekend. Yeah.
Okay, that feels so long ago now.
I know,
so
right?
that happened. That's a new Pokemon revealed. That gets an evolution that is the most ridiculous thing I have ever seen.
All right then.
Yeah, the starters. I think I like all three of them when they evolve.
Okay.
I think all three of them are good.
Okay, cool. So are you still? Yeah, I mean, you're still Sprigatito.
I'm still doing Sprigatito, and I am thinking that I'm gonna evolve them.
Oh, okay. You're making them
growing
move.
on me. It's growing on me.
All right.
Yeah, it's not as bad as I originally thought when I saw it the first time.
I'm very curious if it's 2 feet or 4 feet, but I won't ask, and you don't have to say anything. Okay. So
I won't say anything.
I'm very curious though.
But if you are curious and want to know, the leaks are out there. You can find them. The people who are playing it are saying that it is really fun. That it is a good step in the right direction for Pokemon. So I'm happy about that.
It comes out in a week.
I did not get an early review copy.
Darn it.
So I'll be playing it along with y'all next week.
Stupid Pokemon. The
game's all leaked. Just give us a review copy. What more is there for there to be spoiled? Come on.
I think I gotta finish Sparks of Hope before this game comes out. See if I can do that. I don't know.
I think you can.
I think I can too. It's just I got a lot of work to do. Rebs.
Forget about the work. Who cares about work?
I can't wait to share with everyone. Next year, it's gonna be much different than this year for me. It's gonna,
in a good way.
Anyways, I think in a good way. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Good. Carlos Redden wanted to know, what is the biggest spoiler you've ever had in a game that you wanted to play? Did you play it anyway? So that's the first part of the question. Let's start with that.
Mm-hmm. Biggest spoiler you ever had in a game you wanted to play? I don't think so. I think the only one that really got spoiled for me is BioShock 1. Just because I did not play that game until like 2012. So I was kind of spoiled with pretty much everything that was going on. Like I kind of knew what was happening in the story. I remember my friend back in 2007 came over for a sleepover, and we did those boys sleepovers, play games all night,
Mm-hmm.
and he just played BioShock in front of me, and I just stood there, and I'm like, I guess I'll play my Pokemon game while you play this whatever game in front of me. I didn't know it was gonna be that good or whatever. I just remember it was just like this first person horror game, and then I played in 2012, and it's like this fantastic game. So I wish that was not revealed to me too much before I
Mm-hmm.
actually played it.
Yeah.
Um, Other than that, I don't think there was one tweet or one Discord message that like ruined me for a game.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I got lucky. What about you, Reps?
The one that comes to mind for me, and this was somebody maliciously going out of their way to spoil it for me. I was playing Earthbound for the first time on my stream. And of course, when you're playing a game for the first time live in front of an audience, you have to be careful that people aren't going to like try to ruin it for you. I was like still in the first couple hours of the game, and somebody who like has never been in my chat before came in and said, the way that you beat the final boss is to
Oh
do
no.
this, XYZ. And I was like, and it's like actually like something that like you would have had to figure out. Like it wasn't like, oh, just be strong and beat the boss. It was like a thing that you had
Right.
to do. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like that's so messed up. And I was like trying to forget it, trying to like,
Yeah.
get it out of my brain, but I didn't. And I still played it anyway, and I still enjoyed it. But then when I got to the end, and it's like, okay, well, I guess I don't have to like try to figure it out. Um, that was just very, very annoying. But like story spoilers and stuff, I don't think I've ever been spoiled about anything that I wanted to play.
Yeah. I don't think so either. I think I was trying to think if Last of Us Part 2 if I got spoiled anything. I don't think so, like at all, which I was surprised about. Um Yeah, no, that's really tough. The people that go in chat into Twitch chat just to do that, like, I'm just wondering what do you have to gain for that? Like, why do you
Do they
have to
feel good
like?
about themselves? Are they like, ha ha ha, I just spoiled something and now I'm getting banned. Ha ha, their life is ruined.
It's like they search the game out or something like that,
Yeah.
on Twitch, and it's like, okay, I know how to beat up this game, and I know inside and out. Let me just ruin, no, yeah, just like ruin someone's stream.
Mm-hmm.
Just playing this game. And I was like, why do you want to do that? Like,
Yeah, it's like it's very like disheartening. It's like, oh, okay, like I guess
mhm.
I don't, I guess that's ruined for me.
I'm hearing it in like another anecdote of like spoiling things. I was listening to another podcast about gaming where this one person wrote in and I was like, hey, I went into like when I was young, like 10 years ago, I went into the chat and ruined this certain game by
Mm.
doing voice chatting in Call of Duty lobbies or whatever. I don't even know. And then like 10 years later, he's like, I am very sorry. I was young,
Aw.
stupid, childish. So I think just people, I just, I think a lot of them, like, they just don't know any better and they just want
Teenagers
to,
who think they're being funny.
exactly. I
Mm-hmm.
think it's partially that,
Mm-hmm.
it's kids just like not thinking it through and not understanding the repercussions. So
Or
yeah.
people who like think they're genuinely helping, but like don't realize that the person doesn't want to be spoiled or helped, or things like that. I don't
Did
know.
I think I told you this one and Shaq, but I want to repeat it again. I think it was hilarious. It wasn't a spoil, but like I remember in 7th grade or something like that, like my friend left their Pokemon Coliseum memory card in game in my GameCube. And as a birthday gift to him, I was like, I'm gonna beat the game and and go through all of this progress. I genuinely thought I was doing a good thing for him. And I gave him back the memory card into the game.
That's so funny.
He didn't speak any of it. And then I think a few years down the road, I was like, oh wait, that was very bad. Like I shouldn't have
He just
done
never
that.
said anything. He didn't say, hey, why is my game beat?
I think we drifted apart, like years later, but like he never mentioned he was just
Drifted
like
apart. He definitely didn't want to be your friend anymore.
he's like, thanks for beating my game, you jerk.
That's funny. Wow.
So, anyways,
Boy.
people out there, they just spoil, and I'm sorry. It'll happen.
Not a
Just be
game.
careful.
One more really quick one.
Yeah.
Not a game, but I started reading the Game of Thrones books as the show was picking up in popularity. It was already a few seasons into the show. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna be that hipster that reads the book instead of watches the show because
Cool.
I don't know. I was that person.
No, that's good.
I liked reading. So I started reading the first book, and my friend, who was several seasons in by that point, when I talked about how I just started the first book, she's like, oh, did you get to the part where this character dies? I was like, are you kidding me? No, I didn't get to that part where this character dies. But now I know. And she was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. How do you do that? How is that a mistake? How do you say that? And you're asking me if I got to that part.
I don't know. Guys, just think about things.
To answer Carlos's question, did I continue reading it? Yes, I did. And for the game, yes, I kept playing it.
Yeah. I liked where I actually, if a thing gets spoiled for me, I wonder how it leads to it more than the actual end result of it. So I get it. But people out there, come on, don't spoil things. You're not helping anyone.
I've been going out of my way to not interact with or even the Twitter posts with the Pokemon leaks in it. Even if there's really cool fan art or something, I'm not liking it because then it will appear on my feed and other people will see it. And I don't want to do that to somebody. Yeah.
Yeah.
What? It will? It will or won't?
Yeah. It will. It'll probably appear. Yeah.
Exactly.
Appear on the feed, so.
Carlos also asked a follow-up question, which I think is a really good one. How much time is enough to talk freely about a game without caring about spoilers? I see this discussed a lot. People who start posting things the same weekend that it comes out, a week after it comes out. What is an appropriate amount of time for spoilers?
I honestly it depends on what you think of what a spoiler is. I think it's not a spoiler per se with God of War Ragnarok, but I didn't know what you could do in that game. And then I think someone blabbed it on Twitter. It's like, oh, that's kind of cool actually. And so, yeah, I don't know when's a good time. I don't think there is a set time, to be honest with you, because I think spoilers is kind of a spectrum. It could be very soft spoilers where people just really don't mean it, at all. It just comes out and it's like, oh, okay, I guess I know this now. There's a lot of games out there that came out years ago that I would like to experience without being spoiled. So take that for what you will. With my pictures and what I share, I just try to be as conservative as possible. I don't try to go out of my way to really spoil something. You can see my Xenoblade and my Mario plus Rabbids screenshots on Twitter. I don't try to oh, this big story plot, I'm not trying to do that. So I don't know. I try to be just as conservative as possible constantly throughout Twitter. If you want to talk spoilers, if I beat the game, you beat the game. let's go into another chat and
Yeah.
talk about it if you want. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty much.
I
what
definitely
think
think you're right. It is like a case by case scenario, and I think there are different levels to it. Like you were saying, like maybe if the game came out on Friday and you're playing through it over the weekend, and you want to post some screenshots, of like the environment or like a cool enemy or something. Like I don't see anything wrong with that. Maybe after like a couple weeks, talking a little bit more about the story publicly, without spoiler tags. I think for things like major deaths, major plot twists, things like that, it's courteous to wait at least, a month or 2 or 3. A lot of people can't play the game at launch. A lot of people aren't going to beat the game, as quickly as you did. It definitely also depends on like the game. Like if it's like a big hot release that like a lot of people are playing, like maybe be a little bit more considerate about, what you're posting about it. I do think after like some years have gone by, like for these big games, things are just kind of common knowledge after a certain point where like you can't expect people to hide it anymore. Like you said, you might be playing a game that came out a few years ago. I don't necessarily think that people should still be spoiler tagging the big death in The Last of Us 2. That's one, it's been a couple years. It's kind of common knowledge at this point. At a certain point, it just becomes like, I wouldn't go out of my way. Like if I knew someone was about to play the game, I wouldn't say anything, but like, I don't know. There's levels to it.
I think, a lot of things can come to as common knowledge for sure. I don't actively seek spoilers too at the same time. So like if something comes around and if I read it, it's like, that sucks. I think for spoilers in general, I just want to say this. It's kind of, I don't know why people would like to post it on Twitter unless it's like a design like Pokemon. Like specific story plot points. I don't really get it. Like, why do you need a post about that?
Maybe if they're like discussing what they liked about it or didn't like about it, or it's like controversial and opens up other topics.
Yeah. I just don't. Yeah, I don't use Twitter for that, I guess.
Yeah.
I would use Discord or some other platform. Twitter's more for me personally, just like let me share the game I'm enjoying to the rest of the audience, and just like that's pretty how I'm feeling about it. And that's
well, there's other places to be like you could be spoiled on Discord, like maybe if people are talking about it and you like just go into the channel and see it. When people put big spoilers in YouTube thumbnails, I don't think that's ever okay.
No, that's bad.
I don't know, because you can't like really avoid that. It shows up on your sidebar, shows up on your homepage. Like you can put that, okay, this video is going to talk about this major death, but don't like say who it is, or I don't know.
I think there was one Nintendo Direct or whatever that happened like early in the morning, like just earlier this year for me. And then I wake up later. I'm not gonna catch the live version because it's so early for me. So I just check on. The first thing I do is block out Twitter. I go straight to YouTube and find the video and watch it. When I opened up YouTube, the thumbnail of a random YouTube channel is right there, spoiling Fire Emblem Engage.
Yeah,
no joke. Like
Pikmin 4 was announced finally. Like, oh, okay. Guess I'm not gonna be surprised now. Yeah.
It's like, great. I'm not gonna click you and dislike you. So pretty much it.
Yeah.
So
I would say if you care like a lot, you have to go out of your way to avoid stuff. Like I forget what game it was. I knew that I wasn't going to be able to play it right away. So I, went out of my way to mute certain words on Twitter. I definitely didn't browse on YouTube in case I came across something. So you really do have to take care if it's that important to you. You can't always expect people to cater to you.
Good talk about spoilers. I like this conversation. Yeah.
To wrap up our news, I want to talk a little bit about a recent interview with Miyamoto. This comes after he did an interview Q&A after Nintendo's latest financial report that came out this week, which we will also talk about. It was interesting because he was talking about how Nintendo is, and I don't think this is super surprising, but I think it's also disappointing for a lot of people. He says that Nintendo is focused on new experiences rather than old when talking about things like Virtual Console. He says, then this is a quote from him. It's a little bit long. We now have an environment that allows players to enjoy older video games on newer consoles more easily than ever before. Nintendo's strength is in creating new video game experiences, so when we release new hardware in the future, we would like to showcase unique video games that could not be created with pre-existing hardware.
Okay. It's
a little bit, a lot to unpack there. I think that, I think they were asking a little bit about Virtual Console and like backwards compatibility with future hardware.
Okay.
We know that Nintendo likes to innovate, and I think that's not surprising when he talks about, that end of that quote, like to showcase unique video games that could not be created with pre-existing hardware. We see that a lot with each console that they release. Like before the Wii U, the Wii U had a lot of innovation with the gamepad. The Wii had a lot of innovation with motion control. You couldn't do those things before those consoles with Nintendo. The 3DS and DS had like that dual screen. You couldn't do that before. So I think that speaks to, when we talk about what we want the next Switch to be, the same thing, but with better specs and better performance and whatnot. I don't think with Nintendo we're necessarily going to get that. I think we're going to get maybe an improvement to the Switch, but with something gimmicky along with it, because that's what Nintendo does. They want something where you can't just make it on the Switch.
Yeah. Well, I think like the next iteration is going to be just squeezing out this Switch hardware as much as they can, or the Switch gimmick, because it's just so popular right now with these consoles. Unless they want to go to the next gimmick, I don't know what that gimmick's going to be, so I don't even want to predict it. It's just interesting how kind of separated these quotes are. Because one's just talking about how older video games are enjoyed on newer consoles more easily. Okay, great. That's a fact. The other one's talking about Nintendo's strength is creating new video game experience. Okay. So, okay, those both can exist. That's the
I know. Yeah.
It's like there's no conflicting sentence with it. You can put everything, every Nintendo. Well, okay, most Nintendo games on the Switch right now and be just fine. Like you'll be. I just think. I think they're just going to continue.
It's a very safe PR answer for sure.
Yes, they're going to continue this drip feed of these old games onto this subscription service, and that's what it's going to be like for the remainder, like to the future. They're going to just drip feed as much as they can in order to like at least kind of answer that void of old video games and not speak of it any much more. This tells me they don't care about GBA emulation. They don't care about GameCube emulation. Maybe they particularly care about like most important first party games from those systems, but that's it.
I think that Nintendo, the execs at Nintendo do not understand why we want to play old games. I think they hear us say that and they're puzzled as to why, because they're always, about innovation. They're not as, nostalgia heavy. So we're quite lucky to have, the N64 games on Switch Online and, everything else that's offered there. I do want to add another thing that was talked about in that Q&A. They did say that they will continue to improve the Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack tier. The Switch Online, as part of the sales figures, came out that there are now over 36 million subscribers to it. That's an increase of 4 million from this time last year. Interestingly, they didn't share the breakdown of regular Switch Online subscribers versus the expansion pack subscribers. But they want to continue to improve specifically the expansion pack tier. So it's interesting that they gave that very non-answer, as well as the, of course they're going to improve. We've been hearing this over and over again that they're going to improve the online experience, and they have been. They've been offering, I think, some unique demos. They've been offering the DLC at no extra cost. So I'm happy with that. But yeah, it's very frustrating to me, I think.
Yeah, it just sounds like Nintendo wants to put as minimum effort as possible with old games on this Switch Online service. And I think that's what's going to be. What's the other interesting thing about it was this first quote from him about like how this environment allows players to enjoy older video games. I think he's talking about not only remakes and ports or whatever to current gen consoles. I think he's talking about emulation. I think he's talking about the G Unit, the Steam Deck. Like those are two official products out there that is clearly like doing emulation and people know about it.
That's an interesting interpretation of that quote.
There's a blow up of a lot of emulation handhelds happening. The Ion Neo. There's like a few other handful of brands out there with the handhelds. You got Retro Pocket, of course. But yeah, there's a lot of like, and these run on either Linux systems, Android systems, or Windows systems. Like these are not like, oh, let me go to the back door and like open up a certain, magical key to the like black internet or whatever, the dark internet. No, this is like, let me download an app from the Google Store and I can play Super Mario Brothers 2 on my Gene Unit or on my phone. Like, I think that's the reason why they mentioned this first sentence a little bit more.
Okay. That's not how I read it, but that's an interesting interpretation. Then it's not wrong. I think both of those things are true. So interesting. Yeah. Let me talk a little bit more about some of the other highlights of the financial report. The Switch has reached a lifetime sale of 114.33 million. They did reduce their annual unit sales target from the Switch to 19 million. They originally had predicted 21 million for the year. So I think they're seeing a little bit of a slowdown here.
I think pretty much everywhere.
Yeah, I think that is kind of happening across the board. So the Forgotten Land, Kirby and the Forgotten Land, is now the best-selling Kirby game ever at 5.27 million units. Good for you, Kirby. I'm so proud of you. I hope that means they'll do a little bit more with that series in the same type of game that they did for the Forgotten Land. I like to see that. And
like a good game.
Yeah, I still need to play it. I want to play it. I just haven't yet. And then finally, we got some sales figures on Pokemon. Joe Merrick, who is the webmaster of Cerebi.net, the fan Pokemon website, he says the most recent sales figures we have for all main series of Pokemon games, that Scarlet and Violet will almost certainly slow Sword and Shield down. It's unlikely that Sword and Shield will hit Red and Blue's number. I do wonder how high Scarlet and Violet can get, though. So nothing really has hit yet. Red and Blue is what we're saying. Sword and Shield, I think, was starting to come close. But now that Scarlet and Violet is coming out, we'll see, less sales, less units being sold for Sword and Shield. I think from everything that we are hearing here, I think Scarlet and Violet could get close. I really do.
I think it could. Yeah.
I really do.
I agree with you. The Switch audience is as big as that's ever been. So Sword and Shield is 25 million. I cannot believe this. Red, Green, and Blue is 31.4 million.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my
Untouchable.
goodness. That is
But it might be.
high.
It might be. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see. Oh, and for comparison, I didn't see the image here attached. Yeah, red, green, and blue is at 31 million. Sword and Shield is at 25 million. Mm-hmm. So it's considerably behind. But if you compare it to the ones that are closest to it, third is gold and silver, fourth is diamond and pearl, and fifth is X and Y. So you're kind of seeing these, like, God forbid I say X and Y is more of a retro Pokemon game, but at least red, blue, gold, silver, diamond, and pearl are all older titles, and Sword and Shield is competing with them and even surpassing a lot of them. A lot of these newer games, like Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, Let's Go Pikachu Eevee, Omega Ruby Alpha, like their Legends Arceus was only 13 million. They're all a lot lower down on the list. And so it's amazing that Sword and Shield sold that much. And I don't know. I'm seeing a lot of buzz about Scarlet Violet. In my school that I work, a kindergartner, she was carrying a Sprigatito plush the other day.
That's so cute.
Yeah, I see big things for this game.
So I agree with you. I think this is the next mainline game that's gonna really hit. I think piggybacking from Arceus earlier this year.
I know a lot of people didn't buy into Arceus, but it did a lot of good things, and I think Scarlet and Violet is picking up on a lot of those good things. Yeah. And the open world aspect of it, I think, is going to draw in people who maybe haven't been playing Pokemon for a while, who want to come back into it because they'll be enticed by that part of it.
I agree. I am very much looking forward to this Pokemon game.
Me too.
Way more than Sword and Shield. Let me tell you, I did not even finish Diamond and Pearl. Like I didn't even.
No need.
I think I went to like the third gym. I'm like, I am falling asleep again. I think I'm good.
There's no need.
So yeah, I'm very excited for Sky and Violet and see what they do with this game. It looks really different. It looks like, a much different type of areas and adventures, crazy Pokemon designs. I think
multiplayer will be interesting. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, get excited. Cool stuff. I like to see, maybe it's just like the statistics nerd in me, but I like to see sales figures and stuff like that, just to see what's breaking records, see what's on track.
It's just crazy for Pokemon games. It looks like, if you look across all the different versions, it's 75-80% of these Pokemon games are more than 10 million units. It's like, that is insane.
Do you know how many companies or franchises would kill to have one game past 10 million sales?
That would be a mega success for them. Yeah. So Pokemon's it's a juggernaut for sure. I'm very sad Crystal and Emerald are so far low in the list. Those were the
best. Just because it's a third version. When you were a kid, how are you supposed to convince mom and dad, oh, please, I need this game that I already have because it has a couple better things in it?
For Emerald, it was for the Game Boy SP. I remember that specifically. I asked my mom, it's like, I want this for my birthday. The Game Boy SP and the Pokemon Emerald. That's what I want. So
that's a good,
be an only child, guys, and get spoiled.
It's very true. Finally, just to wrap up, Nintendo is setting up a joint venture with DNA, D-E-N-A, their mobile games partner from 2015. These are the guys that helped out with Mario Kart Tour, Pokemon Masters, Fire Emblem Heroes, pretty much all of their mobile games. This venture will focus on value-added services to strengthen the digitalization of Nintendo's business. What do you make of that, Garrett?
That is a weird set of words there. I don't know what to make of it. I am not an analyst. What to make of that? I can't speculate too much. value added services. I think the only thing I can think of is like like stuff that is not their gaming for sure. It's like something extra to put on these services or something.
Microtransactions.
Sure, we can talk about micro. I was just thinking more of like Nintendo Switch Online and like what they can do extra other than these retro games. Maybe they have some ideas with other games involved. Could be microtransaction based
So,
games. I don't
so
know.
besides microtransactions, the other thing that all of these games have in common, the mobile games, are that they are live service games with continuously added content over time. They also were behind Pocket Camp, all their other mobile games. I would love if they helped out with at least road mapping, because I think that's something that Nintendo struggles with, is road mapping future content for their existing games. The fact that Sports Story has been out for, not Sports Story, Nintendo Switch Sports. What is it called? Is that what it's called? Nintendo Switch Sports?
Yeah,
the fact that game has been out for 6 months now and golf still hasn't been added. And the fact that Strikers was supposed to get all this new content. We didn't get any new content in Mario Party Superstars, and we probably should have, because it's an awesome game. I don't think Nintendo has a roadmap for these types of games as a live service. And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing that in so many popular games right now, where that is like the way to do it, to give games longevity. And I hope that's what they help contribute.
Yeah, no, I think, adding some more value to their existing games would be pretty cool. I think they're looking at Monster Hunter and Capcom, and they're like, how do they have roadmaps? How do they just drop this content that's either, well, it's gonna be for free, or they're gonna add this extreme add-on package for 20 or $30. It's like, we kind of want this roadmap too, like in our first party games, and they really don't do that. I mean, they kind of do with Breath of the Wild. They had a little, but it's just like, it's very minimal. It's very sporadic.
I don't mean DLC. DLC is very different than what I'm talking about for and Monster Hunter, I think, does that closer to what live service games do. XBS in chat says, isn't Splatoon kind of a live service game? Yes, it's their only live service game. What?
Oh, sorry. What do you mean? Oh, Splatoon. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's their only one, and it is very successful. It does, help improve the longevity and push more units and things like that. But I think that the fact that that's their only game that they do that is questionable, because they have so many games that would work as good ones, like Mario Party and
like Animal Crossing.
That got totally forgotten about.
I bet they're looking at us like, we could have done better with this. Maybe they know what to do with it more than us, about not about like content or whatever. I'm sure Nintendo knows about content. It's just allocating timeline
resources
in order to set this, to execute this right.
Yep, exactly. I think that's what Nintendo struggles with.
What they mean.
Yes, we are in agreement. So that wraps up this week's news. Let's finish with a couple quick, short chat questions directly from you. Starting with I Can't See, wants to know, if there is a ghost in your home, who are you going to call? Ghostbusters, the Winchesters, or Luigi? Who are the Winchesters?
That's what I was about to ask. Who are the Winchesters? Are we too young for this?
We might be. I do like me some Ghostbusters, but I don't know. I've been playing Luigi's Mansion.
Okay, Winchesters is a very, very recent show. It looks like
Supernatural.
From October 11th, 2022. Wait, is it from Supernatural? Oh,
that's what they're all saying.
Why is there a show called The Winchesters? That's so stupid. Anyways, The Winchesters, from Supernatural. I did watch some Supernatural back in the. Oh, really? Supernatural? That's a good show. I think you would like it. It's a very popcorn type of show with a bunch of horror supernatural stuff. Definitely not the Winchesters because they meddle in too much with their demons. I don't want them. Ghostbusters are lame, so I'll go with
What?
Luigi.
What do you mean the
Yeah,
Ghostbusters are lame?
they're lame. Like
Garrett.
they're just I don't get the appeal of Ghostbusters at all. Like every time I see a
Okay.
video game, I'm just like, why are these guys in a costume with a vacuum cleaner
You had to be
looking
there.
dorky? That's
what Luigi does.
Well, Luigi's a cartoon character and he's just scared and like adorable, but these are just like grown-up men like doing this. I'm like I'm just like kind of like obvious. Yeah, I know people love their Ghostbusters. I'm sorry, but for me, it's just like I'm good.
Okay. I would probably pick Luigi as well, though. Yeah, just because
Bill Murray wants to have a word with me. Well,
I love Bill Murray.
Oh, really? I've heard some stuff on Twitter. Anyways, okay. Other things about Bill Murray, but
we pick Luigi.
Wait,
is something wrong with Bill Murray? Should I not? Is he like secretly not a good person?
No, I've read some stuff about him that he's not a good dude. I would just look up on the internet.
No, I've already had Chevy Chase ruined for me, and I don't want Bill Murray ruined for me. No. As long as Tom Hanks doesn't get ruined for me, that's all I care about.
Oh, he's a good one. I like Tom Hanks.
Ghost Days 99 wants to know regarding Ludwig von Koopa. Do you think it's odd that he was named that and then just so happened to grow up to look like Ludwig van Beethoven?
What? I don't even know what's going on here.
You know Ludwig van Koopa from Bowser's Children?
Yes, he is one of Bowser's kids. And then Ludwig van, is that actually the inspiration of the name? Oh,
I think all of the Koopa children have an inspiration.
That's really cool, actually.
Maybe not.
He's
Iggy Koopa.
Yeah.
Isn't that a reference to Iggy Pop?
I don't know. Anyways, yes, I could see the hair going on Ghost Days. It's definitely repping the back two-sided.
Lemmy. They're all musicians. Wait, they're all musicians.
They're all musicians.
Lemmy is a musician, I guess, from before our time. Iggy Pop, Ludwig, like as in Beethoven. Wait, chat, help us out. Lemmy he's from Motorhead. Hold on. We got who's Morton named after? Morton.
Wow, Nintendo Shack don't know about Koopalings.
I need to know. Morton.
I don't know if people understand about us in general. We don't like. I know there's a Mario background going on here, but Mario's like kind of middling for us.
More in the salt dude.
Oh my god.
No, I don't know. Roy is Roy Orbison, whoever that is. Who's Wendy?
You're talking about stuff I don't know, like at all right now.
Larry Koopa. I don't know. We got to do our research.
Man, we really got to dig in. I did not realize how much inspiration was from outside references for these characters. So
Chrono Trigger does the same thing where 3 of the bosses are named after Flea Flash, and I forget the other one.
What's the other one? Yeah, I always forget the other one.
So yes, I think personally, I think that he it's pretty coincidental.
Roy Orbison sang "A Pretty Woman." I remember that song.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good question, Ghost Days. And then G-Man wants to know what's something you've always wanted to do, but never had the chance to do it. It's pretty open.
That is very open. But the first thing I thought of was scuba diving, because I did scuba diving when I was 16. I really liked it.
So you have done it.
I have done it, but ever since then I've never had the chance to do it again. though.
But that's not the question, Garrett.
I want to do it again.
That's not the question. The question is something you've always wanted to do, but never had the chance to do it.
Well, I kind of bended the question to my rolling.
Okay,
So
okay.
there's anything else I don't know. I really don't know.
My answer is dog sledding. Like
Really,
being
you want to do
a sled
that?
and having dogs pull like in the snow.
I heard it's rough.
Really?
Yeah.
I
Like,
almost did it. We almost did it in Vermont one time, but then I
you
don't
can
know
do
what
it in
happened.
Vermont. Wow.
It didn't snow enough, and so we couldn't do it.
Yeah, it's got to be a blanket of snow.
Yeah.
Like, in order to get that down. But no, I can't do these like adrenaline type of stuff like skydiving, bungee jumping,
The human body is not meant to do those things.
and I don't want to do those. So I'm good. Yeah. Scuba diving though, I would like to scuba dive in like just much different places, you know? Like,
Aren't you afraid of the ocean and like what's underneath?
no, I love the ocean.
The
I love
ocean would kill
going
you.
in yeah, due to drowning. Yes, it can
And
happen.
all the things that live there.
Like what?
What do you mean, like what?
What? I mean, like sharks? Are you talking about that? Jellyfish?
There's a million things in the ocean that would kill you.
Like what? Other than sharks, what could kill me?
Like literally anything. Like there's a ton of stuff that could kill you in the ocean.
Got it. Sounds good. Actually, Owen Wilson, rest in peace, died by a stingray. Owen Wilson. Is it Owen Wilson? Or sorry, I'm misnaming someone else.
Who?
I'm sorry. The Australian
Steve Irwin?
Why did I say Owen Wilson? I'm so
I'm so I was like, oh my god, Owen Wilson died.
Guys, I'm very off today.
The end of the week. It's been a long week, guys.
Yes, Steve Irwin.
That's so funny. Just the conviction that you said that, I was like, what? Like, oh my god.
My brain is not up to capacity these days. Like, it's just, oh gosh.
Stingrays can kill you. Exactly. That just proves it.
Well, here's the thing. Sharks, they'll go after you. And when you're on the beach, like when it's like kind of surface water, kind of, but scuba diving, they're more afraid of you.
Jellyfish.
Okay, just don't go to the Great Barrier Reef where all the box jellyfish
sea urchins
live. Yeah. Oh, sea urchins, don't touch them. Oh, I actually been close to a barracuda before. It was pretty fun.
Piranhas.
Don't go near like a body of like water that has piranhas. Don't go in a swamp. Don't go into the rainforest lake or whatever they're hiding in. Just don't.
I don't know. The ocean. I don't know. It's not right.
It's so beautiful.
Right. It's beautiful. It's very beautiful.
The life, it's about to die. Might as well go down there and see what's out. I went down in Mexico when I was 17. It is just like a whole other world.
It is. I've been snorkeling. Snorkeling is very fun.
Snorkeling's fun too, for sure. Yeah.
I would be scared though to go down that deep without, like, I know you have oxygen attached to you, but just like so much could go wrong.
Yeah, you have a weight belt, you have an oxygen tank, kind of go down. I actually went down 120 feet or something like that. And that's
like if something happens and you run out of oxygen, you're not making it up to the surface again 120 feet.
Well, that's why you go in groups and like you make sure like.
Well, what are they gonna do? What are they gonna do for you down there?
There's a secondary breather if another oxygen tank. If you need another breather, if you run out, if there's a leak, in your tank or whatever, but that rarely happens. Like I feel scuba diving. I don't know what's so dangerous about it.
I would do it. I would probably do it. If I was with professionals, I would do it. I would not do
professionals, and it's a safe dive. You're not going to go near sharks, and yeah,
I would do it.
Cool.
But but I will go dog sledding first. I like the cold. I like
Sure.
snow. I like dogs. I like everything about that. The Iditarod, so cool. So cool.
Nice.
All right. That is going to do it this week, Koopalings. I'm so excited for this upcoming week. I'm so excited for Pokemon. It's like the wait is going to kill me. Like, that's why I've been looking at all the leaks, because it's killing me. Like, I cannot wait for this game.
Are you doing a digital copy or physical?
I will probably end up reviewing it and getting a launch day copy from Nintendo. But I will probably also get a physical copy for my collection.
Cool.
Maybe.
Nice.
We'll see. So I'll probably have it digital. I will see everybody on the battlefield for the Splatfest this weekend.
Including Fiona. She'll probably join you.
Good. I hope she does. She's really good at it, so I hope that she does join me. And then next week we'll be talking about day 1 impressions for Pokemon.
Yeah. Sounds
Beat
good.
Mario Rabbids so that we can talk about it. So we can talk about that.
Talk about Pokemon. Yeah. That sounds good. Sorry guys for the Owen Wilson and Steve Irwin. You know, in hindsight, they look very similar, you know? Yeah, they do. Okay. Come on.
Okay.
Anyways.
Maybe they do. I have to look up Owen Wilson. I haven't seen him in a while. All right. Anything to end the show on, Garrett?
No, it's just Extra Life happened last weekend. Thank you very much for everyone participating in it. I know the Carpool Gaming group and PSVG group did a very good job raising money over in Rome, New York. Extra Life links are still out there, so go ahead, donate. They're tax written off, deductible, or whatever. So just help out those kids. That would be great. And that's pretty much it.
Awesome. All right, we will see you next week. Good night, Koopalings.
Bye-bye.